Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today.
Hey mothers and daughters, here we go again with another show with great information. Well, I was thinking because it's the weekend that I just encourage you before the summer is over, which it is almost over, to get out and do some things. As you know, we've been locked up for so long that I think a group of people that I know have forgotten how to have fun. And these ladies that I know that have forgotten to have fun, I just want to take today's show to encourage them to just remember what fun used to be like. So I am just going to take today, mothers and daughters, to go through a few ways that you could think about getting out of the house. Now, in the last couple of days, I have made a concerted effort to go somewhere every day, whether it's, go pick up a few groceries, go hunt down my water that seems to not be around, go and put gas in my car to make sure I've got a full tank in case I want to just jump in the car and drive to Corpus Christi or something this weekend. Whatever it is, let's go through some things and activities that you could consider. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just asking you to consider it. So here are a few things that you could consider doing. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I do all of these things because, I don't do canoes and paddleboarding and all of those type of things. But I'm just saying that as I'm out in the world, I'm seeing, for example, I'm going across the Buffalo Bayou and I see 5 people in a row. They were canoeing and I was like, that is so cool. But when I saw it in Austin, Texas, I thought it was even cooler. So, hey, why not my city too? And as you know, we just had 713 day yesterday. So it's we over here thinking we can just go do anything in Houston. And I'm a little bitter because I was talking to my daughter and she said, did you know that Universal Studios was coming to Frisco, Texas with Dallas? And I was like, why they didn't bring it to Houston? They already got Six Flags over there. Houston has no big, other than the Ferris wheel that's at the aquarium, we have no theme park attraction for adults. We have water slide, actually one of the biggest ones out in Katy. We have the other water slide off of 45 North. But I miss the days when we could just go to our own theme park, which of course was Astro World back in the day, way, way, way back in the day. So consider hiking. For those of you who like to hike and you say, Houston don't have no hiking. Well, if you just go about an hour and a half up the road, you can go hiking in, near Austin or in other places. You got the Hill Country. So there are places where you can go hiking near Houston. And listen, those of us that are really from Houston, we look at Houston as Houston and surrounding areas. And we do consider San Antonio and Austin a surrounding, Fredericksburg. We consider all of that a surrounding area because it's a very short trip to get there. Just as if you were in the country and if you had to drive to the grocery store for an hour. So, and yes, I do have friends who live in the country that drive 2 hours to the grocery store because that's how deep they live on their land. And I can't wait to do the same. Cycling. Now, I have a really awesome lady that I know that's in one of my groups. And she told me that she goes bicycling every weekend with a group of 50 other individuals, and they go through Sam Houston Park and all of those places, but that they get together as a group and they are cycling. I was so excited. Now, of course, if you have a motorbike, you can do the same. I happen to have a 3-wheeler, which is 1 wheel in the front, 2 in the back, and I have a group of about 5 ladies. And we'll just go up to Belleville or go, down Clay Road all the way to Katy, and we just turn around. We do it for fun. We stay gone maybe an hour, and then we go back home because, one, we're not trying to sweat like that. We don't even do it in the summertime when it's hot like this. We do it when it's cooler outside. I'm not going to do it when I've got to sweat, so that's another idea. Picnicking in the park. My daughter just told me, my youngest, she told me about 2 weeks ago that her boyfriend wanted to take her on a picnic. And I was like, that is so cool. Bring back the old school dating of going on a picnic. But we have a thing here in Houston called Discovery Green, and a lot of people go out there and they do yoga with groups. They do picnics with friends. They do family things out at Discovery Park. So if you get a chance and you don't have a park, like for example, just in my neighborhood there's a park. If I wanted to invite some friends over and just go have a real silly little picnic in the park, you know, bring all the picnic baskets and all that, we literally could just have a picnic in the park. So you don't have to like think that you got to go find a fancy park to do it at. Plus we have Sam Houston Park if you want to drive over there. We've got Herman Park. Herman Park has really stepped it up. Let me tell you, they've got the electric bicycles, and they've got, of course, still the music area. So Herman Park has always been a place for families and friends and homeboys and homegirls to get out and go to, because when I was in my 20s, we went to some park every weekend. It was Brewster Park, Herman Park, all kinds of park, Dewson Park. We would always be in the parks doing fun things. Beach Day. Now, of course, you know that we do have a beach near us, but if you want to go to different beaches, you can. It's really up to you what beach you want to go to. When I go to a beach, I personally have been spoiled that I really like a white sand beach. So I'll go to Corpus Christi, or I'll go to Florida, or I'll go somewhere else. Unfortunately, I have not found that Galveston, Texas has white sand. So I have not been excited about that beach since I was 12 years old. Kayaking, again, I saw the people at the Buffalo Bayou Park kayaking. Last time I was in Austin and drove through downtown going to an event, there were so many people kayaking. We got so excited we turned around again and came back again and videoed it, because it was just such a beautiful sight to see everybody dressed in their wetsuits and out there kayaking. I was just like, man, that is absolutely awesome to be kayaking and canoeing. Now, I do have a neighbor. My neighbor is really awesome at being in her yard, and she loves to garden. So that's an activity that you can do outside, gardening. I remember when I was right about between the age of 10 and 17, I used to go next door to my godmother's, and that was one, other than making tea cakes, other than talking for 15 hours, and I can't tell you nothing we talked about because I do not remember not one single sentence, because that's just how much we were talking, and it was just fun, nothing conversation, but everything conversation. You know what I mean by that? But our thing that we used to love to do together, me and my godmothers, we used to love to plant flowers. We used to love to garden. Now, when I was right about 16 or 17 years old, I saw the first snake in her garden, and I was done since then. I never wanted to garden again. I never was excited. She got that hoe and chopped the neck off that snake, picked that snake up, threw it into, it was just so wild that it scared the life at that time out of me for being outside, that even now today I have a little PTSD about being in certain spaces. But I do take a lot of chances just to prove myself wrong, that it's just my imagination attacking and wanting to keep that fear from seeing that very first snake. Even to the point that when I moved into my house 20-something years ago, the thing in my prayer was, as long as I live in this house, never let me see a snake on the grounds, and I have not. And so I'm so happy, and I'm gonna knock on wood right here at my desk, and yes, it's real wood. Any kind of sports activities that you love, do those outside. Let me tell you two things. I have a client who grandchildren, all of them are in sports, soccer, baseball, all kinds of sports, and they are little leaguers that have scouts looking after them. So if you have a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, a grandchild that is in sports, and you want to support them with soccer, baseball, any kind of sports, go for it, because she tells me that it is a blast that they have on the weekend. She and her husband love going out to see the grandchildren. So I think that is so admirable. Not only that, last weekend I was on the way to get my iPad screen fixed because it had cracked. So I found this wonderful gentleman that fixed my iPad screen. That reminds me, I need to go and do his good Google review. I promised him I was going to do that. So I'm going to, as I'm talking, I'm going to continue. I'm going to write a note to do that. But I was like cruising So I wasn't in a hurry, in other words, because I was just like, today is Saturday. If you hear that squeaky noise from my Sharpie, that's just me writing myself a note to send the iPad guy a Google review. And I'm going to talk about that one day, Google reviews, because I've been getting some really fun things happening with that by just simply letting companies know when they do a great job and when they don't. But anyway, I decided to go down this street, and then I made a turn through the park, and it was Bear Creek Park. They have golf over there. But when I tell you, it took me 45 minutes to get out of there because there were at least a couple thousand families out there. I saw tents, seating, coolers, barbecue pits, picnics, people just watching the kids play soccer. There was at least 40 to 50 different soccer games to the left and right going on. It took me so long to get down, I would say 1.5 to 2 mile stretch that would take me over to a whole nother street. It wasn't even about the time. I didn't care about that. It was just very exciting to see all the families out there. So I just was cruising and looking, and I was just looking at the faces of the people watching the kids play soccer. And there were all the way from little bitty babies all the way up to grown men playing soccer. So you had your little bitty baby teams, your teenage teams, your tweens, and then you had your grown men. And I'm telling you, they looked like they were there for all day to have a great time. Now, this was around maybe 11 o'clock. When I came back through, the park was still jam-packed. I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Something else I like to do when I get out, and I'll like to encourage you to, is to just get out and take pictures. I like to get out and take pictures of nature. I like to get out, like, for example, me and the girls, we went to the farmer's market a few weeks ago, and we went to a little Grinnell herbal shop. But at the farmer's market, as we were buying our fruit and talking to everybody and having a good time taking pictures and videos, some beautiful birds just came right in the middle of where we were walking, and they just kind of stood there and they just kind of danced around and fluttered away. And I just got my camera out and I started taking a video because I was like, see, I'm going to be able to use this footage somewhere because it's just so absolutely cute. And they were so nice and fat, and they were like gray on the bottom. No, gray toward from the neck to the back, and then white from the neck to the face, and then the beak was like a brown color. They were just so cute, and I was like, see, this is what I get a joy out of, taking photos of things that are happening, that are happy. So when I go back through my camera on my leisure time and I sit back and I relax, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But also I like to take pictures of clouds. I like to take pictures of the sky. I like to take pictures of trees and flowers and just things in nature. And so nature photography, I'm even on a couple sites on Instagram that have to do with nature photography. My favorite one is those photographers that take pictures for National Geographic, and they show you what the forest looks like when there's nothing going on, or when animals, are thinking they're alone and things like that. I also have friends that are literally from May 1st to September 1st, they go camping permanently. So, you know how you always hear people say, well, my winter house is in Aspen and my summer house is in Texas, or my winter house is in Texas and my summer house is in Aspen, because trust me, you'd want to be here if you don't want to be in the snow, but if you want to be in the snow, you'd be in Aspen, because I've got friends that say that. But I have people that are permanently camping right now, meaning that they are going from campsite to campsite. I interviewed a lady on this show, if you recall, maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, who literally lives in her RV and she hooks up at the campsites. And she drove one time from Texas to Canada, and it took her not very, a week or two to get there, because she stopped along the way to all the camping sites. Plus, she's nearly 80 years old, so of course that's not a ride that you want to do going just straight. But, now this next one, you're going to think I'm real weird, because I'm not a real outdoor person, but I will go outdoor to do things, and then I get back to the house or hotel or wherever I am. But I can stay out 10 hours and then I need to be back in, because I like my rest, I like my naps, I like cold water, I like doing things on the inside where I know where the bathroom is. I know I don't have to scout out everything. It's like I need to have a plan before I get out into these elements. But lately, I've been following a couple of fishing pages. Now, I'm following them for the wrong reason. I will admit it. It's just that the guys that go fishing, some of them are very handsome. And so I'm following it because of that. And I'm following it just because of that. So, we're not going to lie. But I found a couple that I'm following, and literally, I just like the way they're having such a great time catching fish that are bigger than them almost. And I find it to be just so interesting. But funny enough, I saw a video yesterday with Lil Boosie. If you don't know who that is, just Google him. He was sitting on a boat saying that, he likes the finer things in life. And so he was out fishing and having a good time to himself in silence, And I think that that's good to be able to do. I have never been real fishing, and all I mean by real fishing is that I've been with someone fishing, but I did not touch the fishing pole because I'm not that girl. My kids, when they were little, they went fishing with their dad, and they used to always come back and tell me how much fun it was. One time, the younger kids, boy and girl, they caught a little baby shark, little hammerhead, and they had to put it back, of course, but they got pictures of that, and that was so much fun, and I thought it was so cute. And they said, Mom, why don't you ever go? You should come and go. And I said, no, that's time that you need to spend with your dad. Instead of me saying, your mama, don't do that. I made it very politically correct. That's time that you should be spending with your dad, and moms need time alone. So it's good that y'all go and spend the whole day fishing and just leave me here. And when you get back, food will be cooked for you. And they'll be like, don't cook for us. Dad takes us to McDonald's and we can get anything we want. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, they would always do those little sneaky things. But I also know people who purposely do rock climbing. Now, listen, let me tell you the kind of rock climbing girl I would be. In Houston, we have a lot of different places you can go and do indoor rock climbing. That's the kind of rock climber I am because I'm hoisted properly. I have something to fall on that won't kill me. I'm not in the elements, and I'm not worried about the animals that can get me when I get to the top or by the time I leave the bottom, or that can crawl up that wall and get me. So listen, I'm just saying consider going rock climbing. And if you don't like the elements, or you are a little bit skittish about the elements, go to the indoor rock climbing. It is available for you to do, just like the indoor skydiving. Now, when I did my skydiving, I chose to go over to Rochelle, Texas, to the skydive place, and I chose to do it in real time, in real elements, with the real professional skydivers. I did a tandem skydive for my birthday 2 years ago. Loved it. Can't wait to do it again. Okay? So, I'm just letting you know that that is an option. You can do it on the indoor. Now, I have seen a lot of girls out paddleboarding, and they're doing the stand-up paddleboarding. Like, I'm on a lot of travel channels for my travel group, International Ladies of Purpose. If you have not started following us on Instagram, please do. It's a travel group for ladies 45 and older, but I have seen a lot of ladies doing stand-up paddleboarding, and I'm like, that has to be so cool because you don't need a whole lot of water to be able to do it. I've seen them doing the lay down one, but if they fall off the board, they can stand up. So now I'm not saying go way out on the beach, because first, at the beach, let me tell you what kind of girl I am. Ankle deep, that's it. Once the water start rushing in and getting up to my knees, it's time for me to back up. I like to be ankle deep. I like to sit with the umbrella and chill. I like to watch people. But when it's time for me to get in the water, I'm ankle deep. If I'm sitting in it and the water comes in, it can't go further than my torso. So I don't play with water like that. I was 25 years old before I ever took my first shower. I would only take bath. I was 25 before I took my first shower because I just didn't want the water in my face, because if I have to defend myself, it's going to take too much time to get the water off my eyes. So I'm just telling you, I'm careful. Bird watching. Again, I just talked about the little bird, but we have a lot of different bird sanctuaries all around the world where you can go. I really love the sound of birds chirping. My seamstress, Miss Patterson, has a bird, and the sound of that bird is so beautiful when I'm just at her home and we're creating patterns or whatever we're doing. I love to hear her birds chirping. She just has one, and I just find it to be very fascinating. I even told her, I said, this sound would be so calming. I could go to sleep listening to birds chirp. It wouldn't bother me at all. I will let you know, in the great state of Texas, that we have a lot of horseback riding that goes on out in the country areas, or you can go to different horseback riding farms. I would say find one that's a nonprofit 501c3, so that when you go and you pay to ride the horse, at least that money goes toward supporting the horses in that farm and whoever has set that up. I remember our car club went to a horse farm, and it was so interesting. We gave a donation and we did all of that. And I just found that to be just a great way to support a group of people. Now, I just told you at Discovery Green that a lot of people are setting up yoga classes out there and friends doing yoga, but they also have a lot of exercise classes. I have seen some of the professional, what do you call them? Not bodybuilders, but professional trainers out there doing all of their training with their people that they train, and I've seen it. Now I'm going to tell you the best outdoor activity I ever did in 2022 was when I was in Oaxaca, Mexico. We ended up getting rerouted to Monterrey, Mexico, and in Monterrey, Mexico, when we went to go see the train station and the old this and that, they had a park set up with about maybe 6 or 7 different exercise equipment. One was like the running treadmill, the other one was like the squat thing, the other one was like the arm lift. You could literally be your own personal trainer in that free, open, public park. When I tell you that made me happy, you have no idea how happy it made me. Now here's something that I used to do when my kids were in school, is that I would go rollerblading. I used to love to go rollerblading, but I go roller skating. But I did it in a contained area, which was at our roller rink here. And there would always be, ladies, senior group or whatever, 50 or older or much, much older than that. And I was in my 30s at that point. But I used to love to go because they weren't trying to compete on the floor. They weren't trying to knock you down. They weren't trying to whichever phone I'm on, I'll send it. Or maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, you hear 'em?
Oh, then they step on their brakes.
They don't understand why we're blowing. That's why they think we're weird. But you saw the other car came in blowing. Oh, this is beautiful.
It looks so good on video too.
My favorite thing, I did it yesterday.
Did you talk to the ladies?
What lady?
No,
About what?
nothing, because they sit down.
Clubbing, sleeping. thing we've done maybe 3 times in one of my clubs, a scavenger hunt. You can create a whole scavenger hunt where there's a prize at the end, or there's something waiting for you at the end that's exciting. But this one on my list is a nature scavenger hunt. I'm not sure if you want to do something like that, but you can do other kind of scavenger hunts where you go out and you put the markers and then you do like a little drive. Do it on a back road area, not during the bustling of the city, but do it on the back road so that, of course, there's not a lot of traffic. Now, listen, we went on a very, very nice scenic ride through Sam Houston Park a couple of weeks ago, and we thought it was not going to be busy on that back road. And baby, everybody was trying to get on that back road with their, drop top convertibles and all that stuff. So it was really cool. Can't wait till I get me a convertible. Stargazing is a really, really, really fun, wonderful thing. I often, when I'm in hotels and I'm up on a high floor, I often wish I had like a telescope or something like that. They should probably start putting those on balconies on really, really, really high floors in hotels, because it would make the stay so much more exciting. Just bolt it down for those weird people who think they're supposed to take everything in the hotel when they leave. Now, I don't know about your city, but on my next list, it says take a walk around your own city and tour it. I find it so interesting that I'm a native Houstonian, born and raised here, and I still keep discovering new things. Like, if you don't recall, my daughter and I, Angelique, we did a podcast on the downtown tunnels in Houston, and there were restaurants under there, businesses, banks, beauty shops, all kinds of things were under there, and we found it to be very, very interesting, very, very exciting. But I'll tell you right now, start walking in your city center downtown. For example, we have Town Lake. You can walk around. It's awesome. You got Pearland has Katie is building a pier out there on Cane Island. You've got all kinds of things happening off of 610 and Cashmere Garden coming up. You've got the Galveston Boardwalk and the pier over there, which is pretty awesome. Pick your area that you want to go to and walk around that town. I hear all the different music fests. For example, when I was in Oaxaca, Mexico in September of 2022, we ended up in the middle of a parade, and we didn't even know it was a whole wedding parade. We ended up walking at nighttime and ended up in a whole comedy banjo situation, which was so memorable and awesome. We sat down and partook in all of that. Did not know the language, did not care. I have been, when I was in Baton Rouge working from 2014 to 2019, and when I say I was there, I was only there 1 week out of a month because I just had an office and everything there. I would get out and walk downtown all the time because my apartment was right in the middle of downtown. There were 7 nightclubs around me. There was a Starbucks around me. And not that I go to the Starbucks. I'm just saying that brings in all the people. There were only 2 apartment high-rise down there on top of other buildings, stores and stuff. There was a bakery down there. There was a wonderful pasta place. There's seafood. Everything was right there. And I would just get out and walk and then just go back in because everybody was out that lived within the vicinity, and those who were getting off work, because all of the Capitol buildings and all that was right there downtown. All the attorneys and all the people who were into the city nightlight would be out there. And I made a friend with another lady in the building, and every now and then we would just get out on one side and walk from the end, get out on the other side and walk around again, and we would see and meet so many people, let me tell you. Another thing is try outdoor painting and sketching. I have seen a lot of people doing different artwork. I know there's the painting with the twist, and there's the this with the twist, and there's the all these things, but I've seen now groups doing them on the outside. Like they'll pick a very busy place like Discovery Green, like Town Lake, and they'll just set up something with a tent and they'll just do painting outside. It's the being in the different elements. I'm going to tell you something that somebody told me a long time ago, and I have found that even at my age right now that it's very true. When you change your environment, it changes your whole mindset. This is why when I travel with the ladies on our business trips, we go to different places than what we're used to. We do this because we want to change our mindset. We want to uplift our moods. We want to get into a different element of the way we're thinking. So that's why we don't just say, okay, let's get together and meet at your house, or we go to a whole nother location, city, state, country to do other things, because it does help to elevate whatever it is that you're thinking or thinking about, you know? So just think about it. volunteering can get you outside, because a lot of different volunteer things. Now, in my city, we have a thing called volunteerhouston.org. You can sign up as a volunteer, or you can get volunteers for your next event. Don't know if you knew that or not, but it's volunteerhouston.org. And if you have a big event coming up, you can stock your event with volunteers, people who are looking to get involved. That's how I got to volunteer for the Super Bowl that was here, Super Bowl 30 something that was here in Houston. That's how I got an opportunity to volunteer for one of the largest women health expos that was here and was on Channel 8 one time. I'm telling you, I got a chance to really network and meet the right people. That's how I used to volunteer for the Houston Marathon for 3 years. So I'm telling you, if you get out and I did mission trips with my church, took me to Honduras for many years. So I'm just telling you that when you volunteer, you think you're there to help people, but the people end up helping you, that you end up meeting during your journey. I promise you, it just happens that way every single time. I just told this to a client yesterday about volunteering and what it does, when you go to networking events and all these things like that. But there's also a volunteer beach and park cleanup thing. I know our group did it. One of my groups, we did a volunteer beach cleanup thing, because I don't know if you know this or not, but you can buy a portion of the beach and then you're responsible for keeping that portion of it clean. It's just a way to keep the different cities clean and things like that, which I really don't understand the concept of it in Galveston at this point, and most of the other beach places I went to too, that I've gone to as well, because a lot of the beach homes that they have now are so expensive that into the fee of all that expensiveness should be a beach cleanup crew. So, if you want to volunteer to do that, you may want to just call the associations that handle those beach areas and go and volunteer. And I was just telling, don't tell nobody else. I was just telling a friend of mine, she was saying that she wants to meet someone that has a beach house in a particular area. I said, find out who the association is that handles the volunteer cleanup. Go clean up the beaches and see what happens. Don't tell nobody else. Shh. Okay, back on track. Check out beautiful sunset and sunrises. Now, let me tell you, I am on this website all about sunsets and beautiful sunsets all around the globe. And when I see what they post, it is the most beautiful travel. Now, I have to admit, the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen, yes, I said sets. There's only been 2 beautiful sunsets that I'll never forget in my life. One, a sunset from a cruise in the middle of the water where you see nothing else but water, and your life is truly in the hands of the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's who your life is, in the middle of those hands. Forget who's driving that cruise ship. I'm trying to tell you, when you see a sunset from a cruise, it's a different life. And a sun peeking out through the clouds while you're on a flight. Oh! You can't beat it. You can try, but you can't. Now, seeing as that we're in summertime, a good old nice cookout or barbecue would be nice. And if you have learned the darn 2-step dance from Tamia, you can be the life of the party. I halfway have it. And I bet that if I was to go to a cookout that they were doing it, I could catch on just like that. But when you're trying things on your own, you may or may not get it. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Tamia 2-step dance, or if you want to call it the barbecue dance for the summer cookout. I don't know, but I got the dance. I just need a group of people so I can prove to myself. Prove to myself. Now, getting out can be as easy as getting out and walking the sidewalk in your neighborhood and just going from the front to the back. Like, I like, if I go to the end of my street, I can just walk all the way down to, providing I didn't think there were pets out. I could walk all the way down to the end of my street, and that would be about a half a mile. And then I could just come back and say, okay, I got my walk in. I got, to see whatever I got to see. Because I used to do that when I was in my 20s and 30s. I'd get out and I had a walking buddy, and we'd walk, several miles all around the neighborhood. She lived in my same area. It was when way back in the day when I had my daycare, and she had her child here, and we would go walking when she would come to pick up her child. So I had a walking buddy, and that would be, I'm at the conclusion at this point that the only walking that I'm interested in with a group of people is on a tour in another country or in a air conditioned facility. Otherwise, it'd have to be during the good weather times when it's perfect outside. Perfect for me is between 65 and 75 if I'm walking. Perfect for me to be out in the elements and having a great time touring can be between 80 and 114 or something. I mean, I'm good as long as I've got a hat on, I got sunglasses, and I got water, and I'm cool or whatever. But the warm weather doesn't scare me. When we did mission trips in Honduras, it was always 114. One year I was in San Antonio with the kids at the Riverwalk, and it was 112. So the heat doesn't scare me because I know how to dress, and I know how to put my hat on and my sunglasses on and proper, elements on my body to make sure that I don't ever have a problem with skin issues from the sun. So the next thing would be, if you're into animals, to visit a nearby zoo or wildlife sanctuary. Now, the zoo here in Houston is huge. They've got a lot of animals from a lot of different countries, and the last time I went was the last time that I said I would ever visit a zoo, so I've kept to that. My daughter did trick me one time. We were in Missouri, and she said, "Mama, let's go through." Well, she wasn't no baby. I don't know why I'm talking like that. She was clearly a teenager, but she said, "Let's go through the drive-through park, wildlife park." My mind told me not to do it, but I was like, oh, okay, we'll do it. Again, I don't know why I'm talking like that. I guess because it's so dumb that I did it. So we get in there, and then the ostrich decided to sit on my car. I was in my little bitty Mini Cooper. The ostrich decided, he was bigger than my car. He decided to sit on my hood and would not move. They told my daughter she could feed the giraffes. She decided to feed the giraffes, and the giraffe sucked in her whole hand and left spit. She got left. I can't handle certain things that I just tell you not to do, and then you do it. You need to go wash your entire body, or we're going to leave you here. So anyway, I won't be going through another one. Oh, and then I tried it again in 2018 in Arizona. Went through Wildlife Park and almost got chased by bears. And when I say almost, I'm telling you, the bear was chasing us and gave up. And they said the bear's not going to bother you. They're going to walk away. And when they saw my little car, for some reason, they start walking toward the car. Then the moose. It was just too much. Okay? I don't play games like that. So next time somebody asks me to go through a safari or wildlife, it's just a no for me. I'll meet y'all back at the hotel. Now, here's something that's been on my bucket list for a while. As a matter of fact, I have a friend in one of my groups that one of my friends, her husband, Alan, is supposed to help me to create my own handmade kite. But I think I'm going to get my seamstress to make it for me, because I want one with a dragon on it, but I want it to be a girl dragon with long eyelashes and nails. And so when I go to the kite festival, there's one in Louisiana every year. There's one in Austin every year. But anyway, let me write that down too, kite festival, because all these things that I had planned to do during 2020, 2021, they didn't get done because, we couldn't get out and do them. I just got to make sure I get back around to them, because I've got so many things on my bucket list. I need to go over and make sure that's still on the bucket list, because the hot air balloon and the kite festival were the two things that I had planned to actually go and do in 2021, and we couldn't do it. It was canceled pretty much. Try your hand at archery. I knew somebody who loved bow and arrows, and as a matter of fact, for his birthday, I bought him the best bow and arrow that I could find at Dick's Outdoor Sporting and Goods. And that bow and arrow guy wore out, because he just every day that bow and arrow, I was just like, okay, this was the best gift this person could have ever gotten. And it was just a thought process of, what do you get somebody who's outdoorsy and manly and likes fishing and shooting and outside stuff? And I was like, bow and arrow. I had to get the man in the store to help me, because I was just like, I don't know the toy one from the real one. He was like, well, the real one is this, and it does that, and it costs that. And I said, that's probably the one I want. And then to get the arrows that went with it, it's like, I'm going to give you a month worth and you're good. I love myself to go and look at waterfalls. Just looked at a beautiful scenic lookout adventure in Gatlinburg, Tennessee in May. Me and 4 other ladies, we had an amazing time in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and we went up to see the waterfalls. And guess what? While we were there, a little young couple, maybe about 20, 21. He tricked her to go up to the waterfalls, and then when she looked back, he was on one knee and he asked her to marry him, and everybody was cheering. Her family came through. It's about 20 of them, and they were like, acting like, oh, okay, yeah, the waterfall is cool, it's nice, this was a good adventure. And then they whispered in our photographer's ear, he's gonna ask her to marry him. So I got excited because we were doing our photography shoot, because we hired a photographer for the day. So we were doing our photo shoot, and my photographer was so smart because he got everything on camera and video, and then he gave them his little number thing where you can go and look it up on the site. You can't take it, but you can go and look it. But then he had it for sale, so I was like, good marketing, Bob. But anyway, so he asked her to marry him, and we all just started screaming. Now, why my dumb self got all excited and my eyes started sweating, you know what I'm saying. It was so cool, so cute. I'm so glad that we went to the waterfall because we got everything we wanted, and then we got to see a proposal with some beautiful little young kids in real time. And when we were done, every woman was like, oh, can we see the ring? I can't tell you what the ring looked like, but I just remember that it was so beautiful on her little hands, and they looked like they might have been between the age of 18 and 21. He looked just as young as she did. I mean, they were so young and cute looking, and I'm just like, I remember young love. Oh my God, because I got engaged when I was about 18 years old, 18. But I got my promise ring when I was about 14 or 15. So that same person made good on their promise. Now, the rest is history, but it was made good. River Lake cruises. We have a lot of that happening around here in Texas and Houston specifically, I'm talking about. There's a lot of different river cruises. Now, I got an invitation not too long ago. Actually, it was long ago because it was before 2019, to go on a paddle boat cruise. I think it was in Louisiana or Mississippi or somewhere. Anyway, it was a big, huge paddle boat, and it was really cool. It got canceled for whatever reason. I guess they didn't get enough people to go, but I was down. I was like, okay, I'll go. So, a lot of people go bike packing. Now, let me tell you what a bike packing trip looks like. A lot of youngsters, and I have a friend in one of my travel groups, her daughter, not my travel group that's with the women 45 or older, but another group, her daughter, it was a college student, and they were offered to go to Budapest or something for the summer. And during that summer, they could stay the whole 3 months, but they were backpacking. So they got a bike, and they were bike and backpacking, so they call that bike packing. And they had a host house that they stayed in, so they were safe with that. But during the day, they had to go and do particular things for their school thing. And it was the school paid for it. I think she went to UT or A&M or something. Anyway, the school paid for it. And after the 3 months was over, she decided she was going to stay. So she's still there with her best friend, and they said that they're going to just go ahead and do a year. They'll continue their studies, but just in another country. The same thing happened with my neighbor Jennifer back maybe 20 years ago, because my son's 23. Yeah. Maybe 20 years ago, my neighbor Jennifer, she was teaching for Lone Star College, and Lone Star College has this overseas thing, and she went to go teach English in China. Never saw the lady again until 3 years later she came to say hi, let me know she missed the kids, let me know that she was never coming back to America again. Miss Jennifer was out of here. I've never seen that lady since, Another thing that you can do that's fun that would get you outside is just go and explore a new city or town. Do it on foot. So, for example, I live in outside of Houston, and if I wanted to go to Fredericksburg, Texas, it would only take me an hour and maybe 20 minutes to get there. On the back roads, it might take a little longer. But if I just got on the freeway and straight went to Fredericksburg, it wouldn't take me long. And you can literally get out in Fredericksburg, and you can literally walk the old town. I love old town. Like we have here on the outer greater Houston, we have Old Town Spring in Spring, Texas. We have Old Heights, which is in Houston. We have Sugarland, Pasadena, Pearland. We have all of those that have little country downtown. Even Humble, Texas, or if you say Humble, Texas has an old town downtown area where you can go and the stores still look like they're out of 1950s or 60s. I love that. Like even in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, we got a chance to go to the little old areas and we just loved it. We loved it. We loved it. So you don't have to do it in your town. Even where I live, they have so many little lake areas and little town places, town lakes, and all kinds of things. You could just get out and go and walk because there's usually bridges, there's usually water, there's usually where you can get on a boat or something and view the neighborhood, or there's a lot going on. We were even one time, me and my girls and their friends, we were in Cancun, Mexico, and we stay always at the Renaissance Marina. And one year we went, there was a boat show going on, and at the boat show there were a lot of people from Dubai and other places, and we saw this beautiful boat and we asked the guy, can we get a ride on the boat? And everybody was kind of touring the boat. He was like, yeah, come on. So he took us around the marina in his boat, let us just kind of sit back and shit. It was just so cool. And it was just like, wow, thank you. And he was like, my pleasure. And I was like, oh, wow. Chick-fil-A me if you want to with the my pleasure. I love it. So now this next one I've done only in the winter though. Have a beach bonfire and roast some marshmallows. I did this in the winter with one of my groups, and they made a statue that had lights all over to light up our area. We sat in chairs, had conversation. There was food. There was marshmallows that we roasted on graham crackers. When I tell you it was an experience, it was so awesome. And that night, I even drove back home. That was way up in Austin, Texas. Memorable. When I go back and I look at the pictures, I'm just like, wow, the memories are beautiful. Now, I just told you one of my things on my bucket list, of course, was the kite flying and then the balloon ride. There's an amazing one that's on my bucket list, and I hope that you go one year just like I'm going to go. Now, this year, I'm not sure if I'll be able to go because I'm getting ready to go to Thailand, but in October, every year, September, October, I'm not sure which one now because they changed the date after 2022. But for 2023, check out the Hot Air Balloon Festival in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Look it up. Look at the past years. It's been on my bucket list. It's literally sitting right here on my desk because I was looking at the dates just the other day and going, let me see how I can squeeze that in since I'm going to another festival in the desert of Las Vegas in October. So I'm like, I don't know. That's on my list though. We already talked about going to the National Parker Reserve. I told you about our trip that we did at Sam Houston Park. There's a lot. Now, I have where I live, and my brother has where he lives in the Woodlands. We have an outdoor mini golf place that's made by Tiger Woods. So we have a Tiger Woods Golf Center out here, which is really, really cool. But I've noticed that for the younger kids, they've built all these other things like the main event and all of that, where they can go and do outside putt golf as well. You've got Top Golf. That'll get you outside as well. So all of these places, if you like golf or if you want to learn it just for once. I'm one of those people that I do something once, and if I like it, I'll do it again. And if I don't, I'll just mark it off my list as done, and I don't have to ever do it again. For example, we took my mom to a particular restaurant for the actual day of her birthday, not the birthday party you saw up there, but on the actual day of her birthday. And I said, okay, well, I did it and I don't have to come back anymore because the food was lackluster. The atmosphere was wonderful. It was in a great place. The Arnold Palmer drink that I had was awesome, but the food was lackluster, and every person at the table said the same thing. So we were just kind of like, okay, we marked that off of our list. We don't have to go to this location anymore. In the wintertime, of course, ice skating is sometimes on the outside. I know here in Houston at the Galleria, they have an indoor skating rink, but I think some of these places that you can go to would be like indoor, outdoor, because the roof will open up, and that makes it very, very beautiful to be able to do it. I have on my list a trail run. Now, this trail run is going to be with an ATV group that I've joined, and so I'm just waiting to be able to get the little trailer made for my ATV so I can hook it up to the back of my car and get on to some of these trails. Yep, I joined an ATV trail group of women and men, and I can't wait to join them on my first trip. Now, it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be now or in the fall, but it won't be in the winter, that's for sure. But yep, there are trail ride groups for horses, there are trail ride groups for ATVers, there's trail ride groups for UTVers, and I am in the ATV UTV community now. We already talked about sports. I'm just going down my list because I was sitting here talking to a friend and she was saying, it's just nothing to do. And my brain was like, yes, it is. Come go to some of these market days with me. I go to market days. I go to food festivals. Just went to a Houston Soul Food Festival 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. Market days. I'm at the farmers market and other markets all around Katy, Cypress, and everywhere else, Heights and everywhere else. So think about some of these markets. If you just go into Facebook alone and look up events for the weekend, you're going to see at least 6 market days. I mean, I got 3 I can go to tomorrow if I so choose. Back road trips are amazing. Back road trips, get in your car, let the windows down, and just go. Do it early in the morning before it gets too hot, or do it in the evening if you want to do like a sunset or something like that. One of my favorite things to do on the weekend, I love to go to car shows. They're usually from like 8 to 10.
Oh, that you want. Up on Bureau, Fresh Mix Cantina. I bet you they good up top. I bet you they good.
Fresh.
Are you trying to get over or west? Pickle Lane
They're
and
not
State
sure at this
yeah.
point.
South Carolina. Oh, he looked like he reading the GPS, like he's trying to figure it out.
Look, we gotta look up his hotel like he was looking for hours.
And when you're not used to that, go smoke like burger. Black people rise up.
Best Bloody Marys in town.
Fanny's Corner Kitchen. Think that's Granny Fanny?
Park that'll take you around the park. Yes, it's for children, but children have parents that have to ride with them. So I will ride the train as a parent to all the kids on there because that's on my list to do. My daughter and her friend girl, they went out one evening with some other people, and they actually got the electric bikes and they rode the bikes around the park and passed by the little concert area and all the couples and everything that were having a good time. So she's getting out and doing some of those fun things. You know, when you're 22 years old, you got to get out and have some fun. Listen, my most favorite thing that I'm going to share with you to please consider. Remember, adopt these activities based on your location, your preference, your safety considerations. Just have a wonderful time and enjoy the outdoors. Now, I'm going to tell you my most prideful thing. And when I say prideful, I don't mean that in a weird way. I mean, I am just so happy and excited and enthusiastic about it. And I'm excited to share it with you. And this is my final thing, mothers and daughters. Take a quick weekend flight from a Thursday to a Sunday, or from a Friday to a Sunday or Monday. I bought an all-you-can-fly pass with Frontier from September 2nd to February the 9th. I paid $299 for it, which you can pay that on one flight. And I can fly all I want to wherever I want to that they fly to, which are all the places I go to, like Mexico and Costa Rica and all these other places in America. I can fly anywhere I want to, with or without a bag. I'm so clever that because you get to bring a purse on, I literally can pack for a weekend in a purse. Roll it, tape it, get you a big large size purse, and you can take one personal item. That's all I need. I am one of those people that I don't wear a lot of makeup, so if I need some, tint or something for sunscreen, I can just pick it up at the Walgreens when I get there. I don't need a car because usually when I get to the hotel, transportation is available. I bought the pass for a few reasons, and then I'm going to let you go. I bought it because I can fly in and out anywhere I want to, and I don't have to have rental cars and bags, and I don't have to have company with me. I have so many points at Marriott that I can stay in the hotels for free. Or if I don't, you can get a Marriott hotel stay for $79 if you look smart and look for it. Okay? That's one reason. The other reason is because I feel safe to do that, because I can literally schedule a tour to go somewhere and be picked up from the hotel every day, like I did when I was in Indonesia all by myself for 14 days. Felt very safe every single day. Somebody picked me up every day and took me to my designated spots. The other reason I purchased it is because I'm doing a little bit of research to see if this $2.99 all you can fly really works. I am in a travel group. I am connected to thousands of other travel enthusiasts. I'm not a travel agent at all. I'm a travel enthusiast. And I want to be able to say, from September the 1st to February, I'm going to be recording everything, and I'm going to let everyone know how the experience was. Now, if you want to pass for the year, last year it was $599. By the time I went to buy it in 2 days, it was $799. Now it's over $2,000. So if you missed out on that, you missed out on it. But I jumped on this fall winter one, and I will jump on that one as often as I can. So that is why I'm so excited that I can get outside more by just driving to the airport, hopping on a flight, going somewhere, being catered to, come back, and have spent less than $500. Me, I can do a weekend trip and only spend $150. And that's only because you got to pay for excursions and you got to spend $20 a day on food. I can get away with spending $10 because I don't require a lot. I trained myself that way as traveling. I'll tell you that story one day. So that's my show for today. I just wanted to give you a little bit of tips on what to do in case you hadn't thought about these simple little things. Doesn't have to be something grand and, wild. But these are just things that you can do on the weekend. Guess what? The weekend is here. Get out and do something. Let me know what you did. Put it down in the comments. Tell me what you did. Tell me how you got out and went out about and met some people and how much fun, and you can't wait to do it again. If you didn't have a good time, tell me why. I'm nosy. I just want to know why you wouldn't have had a good time traveling and getting out and doing something. Like for me, if I just leave my house, like I left my house today, I went to Sprouts down in Cinco Ranch, came back, I felt good that I got out. All I did was go to the grocery store and came home. I felt good. Yesterday, all I did was get out and do a couple of errands, did a video in the car. I felt good about it. Tomorrow, who knows what I might do, but it's Saturday and I know I'm gonna do something. So enjoy your weekend and enjoy all of your weekends through the rest of the year. Pick one thing a month if you can't do anything else. And that's my show for today on Get Out This Weekend and Do Something. What they say, it's the weekend, baby. That's my show for today. Bye. Hey, mothers and daughters, you are invited to our Celebrating Women, September the 2nd, 2023. Our Eventbrite link is in the description. Please click on it, get a ticket, and join us there. We will have so many great people for networking. We're going to have a delicious Caribbean brunch and wonderful drinks. And we are going to have wonderful speakers from the Port of Houston, the City of Houston, Harris County, Small Business Administration, talking all about how your business can get contracts to grow your business. Come on out and join us. That's going to be on September the 2nd. You'll see more advertising about it coming up soon. The link is at Eventbrite. Get your tickets because there's only limited amount of space. All right, bye.